Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be taking a look at some of the new rules that we can expect for the vehicles in Warhammer 40,000 10th edition. I've been really looking forward to this update, and on the Warhammer community site today they're giving us a little look at the Rhino datasheet and some of the other vehicles too, and we're going to expect to see them being a lot tougher in this new edition, which is pretty exciting. Some are going to be as high as 14 toughness, which is crazy. Now, almost every vehicle has received an increase in their toughness, which is really good news, but they've said that all the weapons in the game have also been recalibrated to fit into this new scale, and they're going to be talking about those tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that article for sure. It's going to be really cool to see just how we're going to take these high toughness vehicles out. But let's focus on the vehicles for now, and we'll start by taking a look at the Rhino, and here you can see the new datasheet for the vehicle. If you've been following along with the previous videos and updates I've been doing for 10th edition, you'll already have seen the new layout for the data sheets, but now we've got the stats at the top, abilities to the right, weapons to the left, keywords at the bottom. A much nicer layout, I think, nice and crisp, really easy to find what you need. So I'm liking this a lot so far, and they're continuing the data sheet layout exactly the same with the vehicles as they have done with other units. Let's look at the characteristics first. So we've got a movement of 12 inches, that stayed the same, but toughness has moved from a 7 to a 9 now, a lot tougher. A save is still a 3+, wounds remained on 10, leadership's changed, now it's a 6+, but if you look at the video I covered before, leadership is going to change in 10th, so check that out, I'll link to it at the end of this video. And then we've got OC, that stands for Objective Control, and here it's going to be OC2. I was really interested to see what the objective control would be for some of the vehicles, and looking at this for 2 Rhino, I'm quite surprised. I thought they might have done it a little bit more. Certainly if there was over 10 wounds or 10 or more wounds, I thought it might be a little bit higher. But this is interesting because this is going to match, for example, the Intercessors now, who have also got an OC rating of 2. I'm really happy to see this toughness 9 on the Rhino, but it says in the article that this is actually at the bottom end of the Space Marine vehicles where the toughness is concerned, so that all the other vehicles are pretty much going to be higher. So that's crazy. So the Rhino is coming in quite low, even though it's got a high toughness. Let's have a look at the weapons profile, starting with the ranged weapon, and it's got the Hunter-Killer missile, still 1 use per battle, but now it's called one-shot, so it's got the one-shot ability tied to it, and it says the bearer can only shoot with this weapon once per battle. 1 shot, 1 kill, hopefully, with a range of 48 inches, you can make him 1 attack, ballistic skill of 2+, strength is 14, armor piercing -3, and damage D6. That's a massive change here now. This has gone up from strength 10 to strength 14, which is brilliant. The AP from -2 to -3, still D6 damage though. And notice that the ballistic skill is now attached in the weapons profile rather than in the characteristics section at the top, which is much better because this is going to make it a lot easier when you're using the different weapons. So for this case, the Hunter-Killer missile, that's going to be a ballistic skill of 2+, whereas the Storm Bolter is 3+. So this is really good, a big improvement for Hunter-Killer missiles, and I suspect this is designed now to be used against vehicles and things with that higher toughness. But when you're ready to take some shots at some weaker units, maybe some troops, then you've got the Storm Bolter, Rapid Fire 2 rule, and then you've got a range of 24 inch, 2 attacks, ballistic skill of 3+, strength 4, AP 0, and damage 1. No real change there though, but one thing that does stand out here is that on the previous Rhino datasheet for 9th edition, as you take more wounds, the ballistic skill gets worse. But in this case, that doesn't seem evident on the datasheet at all. But I'll read what they say later in the article because it doesn't really clarify it. So it says a lot of vehicles used to suffer from characteristics that degraded as they took damage, just like the Rhino did. Most of those now simply suffer a penalty to their hit rolls when reduced to 1/3 of their starting wounds, leaving big vehicles and monsters in the fight to the last. And many vehicles don't degrade at all, and they say that they intentionally wanted to only keep these when they felt meaningful. So does that mean there's nothing on here that says anything about that reduction to 1/3 of their starting wounds? Does that mean that the Rhino isn't going to degrade at all? I'm really not sure from how they put this together, but I'm assuming, just looking at the data sheet here, that it's complete and that this won't degrade. There's nothing in there that says that it would. We'll cover self-repair a little while later in the video, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. I love that they've added the armoured tracks into the melee weapon section here. This is great. You're going to be making 3 attacks with a weapon skill of 4+, strength 6, AP 0, damage 1. That's an improvement. The weapon skill before used to be 6+, so now it's going to be a lot easier to run people over, which I think is amazing. That's really cool. Lots to like so far then, but let's not get too carried away because we've got the abilities to look at, so let's head over there now. The first ability is the core ability called Deadly Demise, D3, and Firing Deck, 2. Let's find out what they mean. Deadly Demise is nice and simple. This one dictates how many mortal wounds are suffered by nearby units when a vehicle explodes. And you will still need to roll a 6 just as we do in 9th edition. Then there's Firing Deck, and this shows how many embarked units can shoot from inside a transport. So that's nice and clear, really simple, really easy to find the rule. Next up is the faction ability called Oath of Moment. We covered that in a previous video. Again, I'll link to that at the end of this one. And let's have a look at the final ability now, which is called Self-Repair. At the end of your command phase, this model regains 1 lost wound. That's really nice. They didn't really go into that much in the article there at all, actually. So I was very surprised because that's a really big addition, especially for the Rhino. And I really like this. Having that wounds 10 and being able to regain 1 lost wound at the end of your command phase, of each command phase, is fantastic. I'm loving this. Is this going to mean Rhinos are really good to include now again? I hope so, because I think they look really good on the table, very iconic, and really fun to put units in there and drive up the battlefield and then jump out and just shoot the enemy. I think it's a great way to play. Alright, let's have a look at some more examples then. We've got the Storm Speeder here, and what I've done is taken the characteristics from 9th edition and compared it to the update that we're going to see in 10th. And you can see for the Storm Speeder, the movement is 14 inch now in 10th, so that's come down from 16 to 14. Toughness has gone right up though from 6 to 9. Save is still 3+. It's got an extra wound at 11, that's really good. A leadership is 6+ now, used to be 7, but again, leadership is going to change now. There's going to be a battle shock phase, so they're going to be a little bit different to what we used to see in 9th. And then OC, this has got 3, so this is going to give you more control on those objectives. I really like this, just increasing that toughness makes so much sense. I can deal with the movement coming down to 14 for sure. This is definitely making me think I need to add a Storm Speeder in now. I really like the movement, that's great. Toughness 9, brilliant. 11 wounds is good too. Yeah, lots to like about this. The next example is the Gladiator Valiant, and here are the stats again for 10th at the top, 9th at the bottom. Movement's going to stay the same at 10. Toughness has gone up to 10 now, so it's higher than the Rhino as we would expect for a tank. Then you've got 3+ save. Wounds are 12 still, and leadership has changed as well. They're going from 6+ to 8, but again, it's different. And then OC is 3. And I'm really happy to see this because I've got a Gladiator and I use different variants for my Imperial Fists. So it's cool to see this. And all up though, happy with that toughness 10. That's really good. And the final example is the Repulsor. So we've got 10th edition stats at the top, 9th underneath, and movement 10, that's going to stay the same. Look at the toughness now though, from 8 right up to 12. That's really cool. What is going to be 14? The article tells us the Orc Stomper will be as high as 14, but what about the Space Marines? Do we think the Land Raider will be in there higher than a Repulsor? We'll have to wait and see. So we've got nice movement 10, toughness 12, save 3+. Wounds are still up there at 16. Leadership's gone up 9, that's nice. And then look at this for the objective control, a big 5. That's more like it, that's what I expected. So I guess the more wounds you go up, the more OC it's going to be. And with the Rhino, they're not really thinking that that can hold the ground that much against the enemy. But certainly you get a tank in there, it's going to be harder to shift. There we go then, that's a great update for the vehicles. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. Be really interested to hear what you think. I do hope the Rhino doesn't degrade, but I suspect some of the bigger tanks may do. We'll have to wait and see. I'm really looking forward to seeing the weapons tomorrow, the updates to those, and I'll certainly be updating you here on the video when they come out. But in the meantime, there's loads of videos now on the channel for 10th edition if you'd like to check them out. And thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave you a good idea about what to expect now with your vehicles, especially for the Space Marines. And thanks again for watching. If you did like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. A big thank you to my Patreon supporters for helping me keep going with these daily videos. I really appreciate that support and can't thank you enough. If you'd like to join the Patreon community and support the channel while getting some great perks, there's a link down below where you can find out more. It'll be awesome to see you there.